Are you ready to dive into the world of celebrities? Get ready for the Mamoyo Celebrity Podcast, the ultimate destination for exclusive interviews and captivating conversations with the biggest stars from all walks of...
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to your number one podcast in Africa. I'm your host, Tracy, better known as Mamoyo, and I'm so excited to welcome you to Mamoyo Celebrity Podcast. Wherever you are watching us from, whether it's morning, afternoon, or evening, get ready for a journey like no other. In this podcast, we dive deep into the life of celebrities from various backgrounds and walk of life. So guys, sit back, relax, and let's embark on this exciting journey together. We have got Mr. Saidi in the studio today. I'm so excited to have Mr. Saidi. Today he is going to be addressing the issue of immigration. So guys, if you are planning to come to Cape Town or any other country, South Africa, this is the podcast where you can watch. So thank you so much, Mr. Saidi.
It's a pleasure, Mamoyo. Thank you so much for the invitation and for the opportunity to speak to your audience.
Yes, we don't take it for granted. I know you are a lawyer and you're always busy.
Thank you.
Can you introduce yourself to our audience?
Yeah, so it's always a difficult question to introduce yourself because you don't really know what to say.
Okay.
I was born Ibrahim Saidi, so I am a lawyer by profession.
Okay.
And I'm also a teacher by profession. So currently I'm working at Christian Brothers College in Parklands as the head of schools.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and I also have a legal consultants firm.
Okay.
Which is called P&I Legal Consultants. So we also assist people in terms of legal challenges that they may be facing.
Okay. So what inspired you to become a lawyer?
I think it's in the family.
Oh, it's in the family?
Yeah, it's in the family.
Okay.
I was raised by a cousin brother who was a lawyer in Marandra. And so every time when I was in primary, I would go to court and, listen to court proceedings. So the passion has always been there. Okay. And when I came to South Africa, I still had it at the back of my mind that, I've got a dream. I want to be a lawyer. So, it runs in the family, passionate about it. It's a dream that I say to myself, I am going to pursue whatever it takes.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Okay, amazing. We want to talk about the asylum. Especially those people want to come to South Africa or those who are living in South Africa. So we want to ask you, how do you apply for an asylum in South Africa?
So depending on in which province you are, you just approach any refugee office and declare your intention to apply for asylum. But I think now the laws have changed. They want somebody to declare their intention at the port of entry. Okay. If you're coming from Zimbabwe, say today, you must declare the port of entry that I would want to apply for asylum in South Africa. But if you're already here, it doesn't mean you're not going to apply for asylum. So the thing of approaching any refugee office and you declare your intention to apply for asylum. But I think the most important thing is for people to understand what is it that warrants a person to be accorded that status of being a refugee. So you're seeking protection, but on what grounds? Because people make a mistake and just say, well, I'm coming to seek better opportunities, but that doesn't qualify you to be an asylum. Exactly. So in a nutshell, answering your question, you just need to approach any refugee office and declare your intention to apply for asylum.
Which province you are?
It doesn't matter whether you're in Durban, whether you're in Pretoria, whether you're in Cape Town. All these provinces have got refugee offices that people can approach.
Okay. So what are the challenges that applicants face during the process of applying?
I think first and foremost is that people don't really understand the grounds that warrant one to be given a refugee status, as I say. So if you come and say, well, I'm looking for better opportunities, that doesn't warrant you to be accorded any protection in any country. So obviously your application will be declined. Okay. So there are provisions that are stipulated in the Refugee Act. In other words, like, when do we say a person qualifies to apply for a refugee status? So one has to be conversant of those categories. And then the other thing is also, I think generally the South African government or Department of Home Affairs has got a negative attitude towards Zimbabweans.
Okay.
Generally, they say Zimbabwe is very peaceful.
Yeah.
And therefore, why are you coming to seek for asylum?
Mm-hmm.
But it doesn't matter. Facially, yes, Zimbabwe looks peaceful,
Yeah.
but that doesn't still mean that we cannot accept people who are coming to seek asylum, because people seek asylum for various reasons.
Okay.
So I think generally that's the challenge that we face, and we become hesitant to approach the refugee office. So people should not be scared of approaching the refugee office as long as they know what to say.
Okay.
So that's one challenge, that facially our applications are taken at face value to say they are manifestly unfounded, because there's nothing happening in Zimbabwe.
Mm-hmm.
So I urge people to know exactly what they need to say when they go to Home Affairs.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what are the reason you should go whenever you want to apply for an asylum? What reason should you give them?
So basically, one has to prove that there is fear of persecution from their country of habitual residence. So you might be involved in politics and you want to be persecuted because of that, because of your because of your political belief. You might be wanting to be persecuted because you belong to a social group, for example, lesbians and gays.
Okay.
If you belong to that group, constitutions of countries are different. Some countries don't condone that kind of affiliation. If you are gay, you might be taken to custody for that in different constitutions of different countries.
Yeah.
So if you belong to a particular group and you want to be persecuted because of that, that's another ground for applying for asylum.
Okay.
If you want to be persecuted because of your political belief, if you want to be persecuted because of your race, because of your origin, all those are grounds for you to apply for asylum.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. That's amazing.
Yeah.
I love the reason you shared with us. Let me just talk to my viewers. Guys, wherever you are watching us, please kindly follow us. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, Mamoyo Celebrity Podcast. We'll be back shortly. Hey guys, welcome back. Wherever you are watching us, please kindly follow our Facebook page, subscribe to our YouTube channel, comment, just leave a comment, just like. Yes, yeah, we are continuing with our stuff here. So I want to ask about, is there a need to have a lawyer when you're applying in asylum?
So, there's no need to have a legal practitioner when you want to apply for asylum.
Okay.
What happens is it's a process where you are the person that's saying, I'm fleeing from my country of habitual residence.
Okay.
And you're given an opportunity to state your case. You don't need a lawyer for that, because then if you've got a lawyer, it will appear like it's a lawyer arguing on your behalf.
Okay.
It's like, let me say, a woman has been abused sexually.
Yeah.
They don't need a lawyer to tell the police that they've been abused sexually.
Okay.
They lead their evidence, they report their case.
Yeah.
But what you need to know, as I said, is what do I need? How do I state my case when I go to Home Affairs? So you don't need a lawyer to do that. You can have a lawyer to advise you on what to say. But when you go there, lawyers are not allowed to be in there to speak on your behalf. However, you can request to have an interpreter.
Oh,
For example, if you realize I'm not fluent in English,
yeah,
I may not state my case in a more convincing and accurate manner. So I would request an interpreter, and that is allowed.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
But you don't need a lawyer. You just need to know how to state your case. And if you're not fluent in English, it's always encouraged. We might think, because there are legal terms that are involved. So it's always advised that you look for somebody that can do interpretation on your behalf.
Okay.
Lawyers will only come in when
Yeah.
you've been rejected as an asylum seeker and you need to make an appeal. Then you now need to come up with a legal sound argument to make an appeal. And so you need, obviously, the advice of a lawyer.
Okay. So are you available to help those ones who want to apply and to talk to them, like to help them?
100%. I mean, law is a calling to us. I mean, we started law because we faced lots of injustices as
Okay.
foreign nationals when it came to South Africa, and because of that, intrinsically driven to say,
Okay.
I gotta know about law, I gotta study law, and I know how to defend my rights, I know how to defend other people's rights.
Okay.
So we are available. Actually, I've got a colleague of mine, we're actually partners.
Wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
so I've got a master's in law, and my colleague of mine is a doctor in law.
Okay.
So we are a formidable team.
Okay.
There's no challenge that can stand before us. So we're available to assist people.
Okay.
We
So
do assist
can
Zimbabweans.
we leave your number on the screen?
100%.
Okay.
So my number is 078
Okay.
153 5017.
Okay.
Yeah.
Amazing. So those who are watching, if you want Mr. Said's number, see it on the screen. So what advice do you have for someone who has been denied asylum?
So when you are denied asylum,
Yeah.
they'll always tell you you've got 30 days to appeal.
Okay.
And so it's always advised that when a person gets that, they seek legal advice. And then we assist you in drafting an appeal. But if you go beyond the 30 days, maybe it's now 6 months, it's now 2 years, your appeal is now out of time. In legal terms, we say it's now out of time. So you need to apply for condonation. In other words, you're saying, may you hear my appeal even though it's late, but you have to mobilize reasons that are sound at law, that are competent at law, why your appeal has been late. For example, if I was in hospital, for example, I would say I was hospitalized, I was in the intensive care unit, there was no way I could have made an appeal. Now that I'm out, here's my medical proof that I was not competent to launch an appeal. So that's an application for condonation that you do when your appeal is out of time. But we always encourage our people to say, the moment you get a rejection, we'll seek legal advice. Then we can launch an appeal based on the reasons that you gave. But as I say, to take you back, it's always important to know what to say, so that when we make an appeal, your appeal is sound. So if you said, I came because I'm seeking economic opportunities in South Africa, there's no way we can make an appeal, because already your reason for seeking asylum is tired at law. It's incompetent. We can't resuscitate it. So it's important for people to know what to say.
Okay.
So that's the point of departure.
Okay. Thank you so much. Guys, I'm sure you are following us. We want to talk about the ZEP permit. What is the current update for the ZEP permit holders?
So we need to understand the background behind these special dispensation permits. I think it started in 2009.
Yes.
South Africa wanted to address an influx of Zimbabwean nationals into South Africa during that time.
Okay.
We're fleeing from Zimbabwe due to economic meltdown and political persecutions. And then as a country, it was overwhelmed by applications for asylum. And then because the minister is empowered by Section 31(2)(b) of the Immigration Act to grant exemption permits to any group of nationals. That's what happened. Okay. So the reason was to say, we've got a lot of Zimbabweans that are in the country that are illegal. What can we do? Because they are already with us. So let us regularize their stay. Let us recognize that they are part of us. Let's give them some recognition. And so that was the reason why these permits were put into place.
Yes.
The first regime expired, and the second one, and then finally the ZEP, which is the latest regime. But now when it came when it expired, the minister then, Motsoaledi, decided he was not going to grant an extension. But he made some errors at law. He made some errors at law to the extent that he needed to consult with ZEP holders to say, I am terminating these contracts, these permits, which he didn't do. And that was challenged, obviously, by organizations like the Helen Suzman Foundation. And they won the case at the Constitutional Court to say the Minister of Home Affairs erred. So the matter was thrown back to the Minister of Home Affairs to say, in terms of PAGE, Promotion of Administrative Justice Act, you need to consult with ZEP holders in terms of realizing the extent to which your decision is going to affect their rights. So the matter was thrown back to the minister. So what has happened of late is that the current minister realizes the legal obstacle that he has. What he has done is to grant a waiver to all ZEP holders to say you can apply for other kind of permits, be it a general work permit, be it a special skills permit. I'm removing I'm putting a waiver, a blanket waiver, because in the normal course, if you want to apply for a general work permit, you need a labor certificate that testifies that an employer has done due diligence in seeking alternative employee within South Africa, and they cannot get that from citizens. And now the minister is now granting the employer permission to look elsewhere to be able to fill up that post. So all those barriers were removed by the minister. That's what a waiver means. There were legal obstacles or practical obstacles that would hinder a person from migrating from a ZEP to a general work permit. But the minister gave a blanket waiver, which now means if I am a ZEP holder, I can now apply for a general work permit without meeting all these other requirements, because the minister has the power to grant a waiver, which is what he did. So what it means now is people must now apply for a general work permit, special skills permit if they qualify, if they've got the special skills. So one doesn't have to leave it until it's late. There is an opportunity now that they can migrate from a ZEP to a general work permit. A waiver has been granted. So you don't need all these other documents that you would have required in the normal course.
Okay. So if I've never applied for a work permit, where can I start?
So the two things, if you've never applied for a work permit, one, you can still take advantage of the Refugee Act and apply for asylum. It doesn't matter you've been here for 4, 5, 6 years. That's neither here nor there. There is actually case law to that effect that the moment you declare an intention to apply for asylum, you must be accorded that opportunity. So even if you are arrested today, you don't have a work permit. Tell the police officers, I want to apply for asylum. There is case law to that effect to say the moment a person declares an intention to apply for asylum, they must be afforded that opportunity. So it doesn't matter how frivolous my application might be considered to be at face value. At the very least, I must be afforded an opportunity to go to a refugee office and apply for asylum. So that intention alone is enough. But here's another thing that other people are doing. If you've been here and you are illegal, you can go back to Zimbabwe and come back, and then you've got a visitor's visa, 3 months valid. You can approach the VFS and apply for a waiver. That's what other people are doing. And VFS is accepting those applications to say, I want to apply for a waiver because I want to apply for a general work permit. That allows you, at the very least, to be kind of legal in the country and wait for the determination of your waiver application. Recently, we assisted one Zimbabwean national who had been arrested because he was working and was using a visitor's visa. But he had applied for a waiver at VFS. The matter went to court, and the judge says, but look, he applied for a waiver, so you cannot be deported. So I think those two things can protect Zimbabweans currently in the country without permits. You can apply for asylum, it's never too late. You can have a visitor's visa. You got your 90 days or 30 days on your passport, during which time you must then approach VFS to apply for a waiver.
Okay, thank you so much. I'm sure, guys, you are learning something. Please share the live, tell a friend to tell a friend. We'll be back shortly. Hi guys, welcome back. Right now we want to talk about the passports. I want to ask about when you are living in South Africa and you want to apply for a passport, what do you do?
So applying for a passport, I think first and foremost we must realize that it's a right.
Okay.
And that's why we've got the Zimbabwean embassy in South Africa, which I think is in Pretoria, and then
Yes.
we've got the consulate in Cape Town and probably in other provinces.
Okay.
So if you want to apply for a passport, the normal rule applies that like you would apply for a passport in Zimbabwe. Obviously, you need to have your birth certificate, you need to have your national identity document,
Okay.
and then you go to the consulate and they give you application forms for a passport, which you must send to Zimbabwe.
Okay.
I'm sure with an affidavit of somebody that must collect the passport on your behalf.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's a right. It's a no-brainer. There's no qualification that's required. You're entitled to your passport as a Zimbabwean citizen.
Yeah.
So just knowing where the offices are. I think they're now in Cape Town, CBD.
Town,
Yeah.
Pretoria. Okay.
Yeah. So you go there and just need to apply for a passport. Obviously, you must have some identification that you're Zimbabwean.
Okay.
Your birth certificate or your national identity document, and you get application forms, and the normal process applies.
Okay. So in terms of collection, anyone can collect the passport, or maybe preferably your family members or friends.
I applied for a passport and I filled in an affidavit to say my brother-in-law could collect it on my behalf.
Okay.
So I think, in my opinion, as long as you've completed an affidavit and
Yes.
you're stating that so and so is gonna collect the passport on my behalf, and you mention their names and details, then there shouldn't be a problem at all.
Okay. What legal rights do foreigners have in South Africa?
I think South Africa's got one of the most progressive constitutions in the world.
Okay.
Yeah, to the extent that the founding values of the constitution says that South Africa belongs to all who live in it. So whether you're illegal or you're not legal, it doesn't matter. Whether you're a citizen or you're not a citizen,
Okay.
by virtue of being a human being living in South Africa, you are protected by law, just like South Africans. The only thing you cannot do is to vote. There's certain rights that are reserved for citizens.
Okay.
You cannot vote. You cannot probably benefit from land redistribution programs because you're not a citizen.
Yes, exactly.
But everything else you're entitled to, just like a citizen.
Okay. I've got a burning question. I'm sure the comment section they're like, Mamoyo, why are you not asking this question? What can someone do if they are fired from job unfairly? What do you do?
And I underscore the word
Yeah.
unfairly. The moment you say unfairly, then it invokes the protection of the Labor Relations Act. So if you are employed as an employee, you're rendering a service, whether or not you've got documents, that's neither here nor there. The fact that you've been offered work,
Yes.
you've been rendering a service,
Yeah.
you're also protected by the Labor Relations Act. So if you are dismissed unfairly, there's a recourse for you. You can refer the matter to the CCMA for
Okay.
conciliation and arbitration. I've got lots of cases that we have referred to the CCMA of unfair dismissal. I know of a lady from Malawi. We actually got a compensation of up to 60,000.
Oh, wow.
A Zimbabwean housemaid, actually, I've got the documents in my phone. The Zimbabwean housemaid was being bullied by the employer, all those things, given a necessary overwhelming workload.
Okay.
And so we invoked the case of constructive dismissal against the employer, and she got up to 60-something thousand rand.
Okay.
So there is actually protection for employees that South Africans enjoy.
Okay.
We also enjoy the same rights.
Okay.
Recently, I've got a case of a lady who was on maternity leave, and the employer refused to reinstate the lady, which is a very serious case at
Yes,
labor.
that's very sad.
So there is protection for anybody who feels they've been unfairly dismissed.
Okay.
They've got rights at law. We just need to look at the circumstances, and then we guide the people on what to do and what course of action to take. But people shouldn't be afraid that I don't have a work permit, therefore I cannot report my case. No, that's not it. As long as you're in the Republic, the law says an employer may not employ an illegal immigrant. But if you then are offered employment, I think the case weighs more against the employer.
Yeah.
It's the employer who has breached the laws of the country by employing somebody who's illegal. But the moment I've rendered my services,
Yes.
I must be compensated. Otherwise, it's slavery, which is against international human rights law.
Okay. So I wanted to ask about, so you can report even if you don't have a contract from your workplace?
It doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
I'll give you a simple example.
Oh, okay. I'm sure the comment section, they were waiting for this
I'll
one.
give you a simple example. A woman is raped. They don't have documents.
Yeah.
Must they go to the police and say, I've been raped? The answer is yes.
Yes, yeah.
If you go there and say, I've been raped, they're not going to say, where's your work permit? They're dealing with the matter that you brought before the police.
Okay.
So even if you are illegal per se, I want to use the word undocumented. That's more inclusive.
Yeah.
I think illegal is probably a term that came as a result of the bygone apartheid era. But we use words like undocumented, that's more inclusive. So if you are undocumented, that's an administrative matter. It doesn't mean you cannot pursue your rights.
Okay.
Put the permit aside. I'm working.
Yeah.
You offered me a job. Now you've dismissed me unfairly. I can go to the CCMA and I can claim remedies. The only thing you need to know is get advice on how to present your case. This is the most important thing.
Okay.
So when you go to CCMA and you want to report a case, they're not going to say, where's your work permit? No, they don't do that.
They don't do that.
They deal with
Okay.
your matter. Yeah.
Okay. That's interesting.
Yeah.
What can someone do if they're arrested because of no legal documents?
As I said, there are many cases that have been heard and concluded at various courts levels, be it the Constitutional Court, the Supreme Court of Appeal, where courts have established that if a person declares an intention to apply for asylum, they may not be arrested, they may not be deported. So the police obviously will stop you at any given time and ask for the document.
Yes.
The only thing you need to tell them is, I want to apply for asylum.
Okay.
That's all you need to tell them.
Okay.
I want to apply for asylum. I haven't had an opportunity to do so. Or I have gone there, but I've been standing in queues, I've been turned away, and I've been told, come back again. So I'm still waiting for an opportunity to apply for asylum.
Okay.
That's your protection. The moment you say, I want to apply for asylum, you've invoked the protection of the Refugee Act,
Okay.
which is an international law. So you may not be deported.
If
South
you
Africa
mention
may
that.
not deport you
Okay.
because it's a signatory to the United Nations Convention that we protect people that come to our country seeking asylum. So all you have to say, I want to apply for asylum.
Okay.
I haven't had an opportunity. And the law protects you. You have invoked the protection of the Refugee Act the moment you state that.
Okay. Okay, thank you so much. As we are rounding off our questions, what final thoughts would you want to share with our listeners?
What I want to share with our listeners is that we need to be proactive, right? You cannot stay in a country for 15 years, 10 years, and you are illegal. In as much as the law protects you,
Yeah.
but you're going to get to a point where the law might not protect you anymore.
Exactly.
So you cannot say, I want to apply for asylum. I've been here for 20 years.
Oh, that's
I haven't had an opportunity. Is that reasonable? It's not. In as much as cases have been had, cases have been decided that if a person declares an intention to apply for asylum, they must be given an opportunity. But we also need to invoke the principle of reasonableness.
Okay.
So that you've been in the country for 20 years. Are you telling me you haven't had an opportunity to apply to visit any Home Affairs office? So our people need to understand we are protected by law, but we also need to play a part. Go to any refugee office and apply for asylum. But before you go there, engage with people that are competent in terms of legal matters. They advise you on what to say.
Okay.
And obviously, when that application is rejected, it's not the end of the road. You make an appeal, go back again and consult people that are sound at law, and then they advise you and say, okay, we're going to make an appeal here. You can make an appeal and work for the next 5-7 years before the appeal is determined. That's another thing.
Okay.
So my advice is to people, get out of your cocoons. Don't just be...
comfort zone.
Exactly. Don't just be on your laurels and think things are just going to happen.
Yeah.
You got to play a part.
Exactly.
Engage with immigration practitioners. Engage with human rights lawyers and find out on what options are available for me. At the very least, try and have your stay in the Republic, regularized. It's not. It's. I know people sing this song. Like, I've been here for 10 years. Nothing is happening. I can still work. But there's gonna be a time where the government is gonna call the shots, and you're not gonna enjoy it. So I would say, please engage with people that are competent. We're here to assist. I specialized in human rights law, immigration. A colleague of mine, as I said, we're partners. He's got a doctorate in labor law. So we're a hybrid team. There's no mountain that stands in front of us. I mean, we're passionate about what we're doing, and we're assisting a lot of Zimbabweans.
Okay, amazing. And how can people get in touch with you for legal advice?
As I said, we're in the process of setting out a website, but in the interim, what I can provide is my cell number, which is 078 153 5017. People can get in touch with me.
Is your number on WhatsApp?
It is on WhatsApp, yeah. Anytime, even if it's 12 midnight. I mean, it's a call of duty.
Okay. Thank you so much, Mr. Saidi.
It's a pleasure, Mamoyo. Thank you for having me.
Yeah. Thank you so much, guys, for watching. I'm sure you've learned something. If you're in South Africa and you are living illegal, please make sure you sort out your documents. I'm sure you've learned something from our lawyer, Mr. Saidi. We'll see you again next year, and I wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Thank you.
Are you ready to dive into the world of celebrities? Get ready for the Mamoyo Celebrity Podcast, the ultimate destination for exclusive interviews and captivating conversations with the biggest stars from all walks of life. Tune in every week to our podcast on Facebook and YouTube.